what is it? Well, first of all, let's do a little kind of quiz here, okay? First of all, do we know what a pandemic is? So a pandemic just means all people. That's it. And I'm not trying to play smart because I didn't know what a pandemic meant either. I mean, I know what a pandemic is, and there's movies about it. I think the movie is called Pandemic, and the thing is that it just means all people. So that kind of goes back to that 100th monkey. There's another theory that you can look up called morphic resonance, and that's by a scientist called Rupert Sheldrake. But the key is that our culture, or the petri dish that we are in, and key into that, culture is a cult, U-R-E, on earth level, culture. So culture is just a culture, and it's a cult, and it's also just something that we're in. It's our environment. And so keep that in mind when you're watching the things that you're seeing on TV. It's very important, because what it is it's an opportunity for either force, the yin or the yang, the shadow or the light. It's an opportunity for either of those forces to create a pandemic, to create an all people. And you are the 100th monkey. If you play your cards right, we can be seeing Ascension. Things can be better than they've ever been before. Possibly we can get rid of this whole concept of currency, which is barbaric. There are so many other possibilities that we can look at that have been shrouded and veiled because of currency. One idea, that Jacques Fresco, he was a brilliant socio-engineer. He lived to be like 101 or something like that. And he is the first person that taught me about resource-driven society. So look it up. Because what it is an opportunity for all of us to come together. And what's amazing is that it's not just this coronavirus that's happening. This is on the tail of what's been going on. Oh, we got 20/20 vision. Now we can see everything so clearly. Open your eyes, please. Listen to all this. See clearly. Don't stop that just because of the coronavirus. If you said that in January, if you said that in December moving into January, keep saying it. It's really important. You are the 100th monkey. So, what it is a time for all people to come together to see that we are one. And whether you buy into John Lennon or Bob Marley or Jesus Christ, we talk about all that we need is love. And all that we need is unity. And that's the key. We need unity and love, and we need solution-based thinking. We do not need fear and problems. So stay away from that way of thinking. Because that is the problem itself, your way of thinking. So stop. We're there, we're so close. It's going to change. Whether your awareness raises with us or not, it's going to change. So please become more aware of the way you think. Because words are like swords. Words are like swords. And tones, like fear and heaviness. Tones are like stones. Tones are like stones. And so, use your words and use your tones very appropriately, because they can affect the world. They change your reality. As a matter of fact, don't forget that the word spells, which are cast, which really that's kind of what advertising is, and that's kind of what social media is. It's like the casting of spells. And spells are cast, and they're with spelling, which is letters and which is words. So you picking up on all this? And each letter has a frequency to it. So that's why they're using certain words in the media to affect you very gutturally. So understand that these are devices That's what it is. These are devices that are being used during this pandemic. And so the next bit that we can say what it is a little bit of a pop quiz for you. Number one's an easy one. How do you get the coronavirus? Is it A, because you didn't wear a mask and glove? Is it B, because you like Mexican beer? Or is it C, because you have a weakened immunity? Which one of these is it? Okay. And again, the answer is immunity. And again, what I can say is I understand that what this is most people are asymptomatic, but the real key is that our immunity is either going to get you to not get sick, or it's going to make everything a lot less, and then it really doesn't matter. So what it is it's a pandemic. It's an opportunity. Look at this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to ascend. It's also an opportunity for us to clean house, literally and metaphorically. It's time for us to think more about what we've been doing and how we've been doing it, and find our will haves and won't haves. There's a new life challenge, and I'm going to put the link to it also in the comment box, and take a look at that. Evaluate yourself. Find out what things really are working for you and what they aren't. Find somebody that can help you with that. You can look into psychotherapy, although sometimes they might not be as practical, so maybe cognitive behavioral therapy, or a life coach, or a lifestyle architect. Something like that can help you kind of like sort out all of your beliefs and your programs and find out what's working for you and what's not, because this is an incredible opportunity to reflect upon that and clean house. Get rid of all that stuff. Because what it also is, here's the weird kind of stuff, is that it's a perfect opportunity for this social media to put a lot of fear into us that will also bring down our immunity, and we need to have our environment at the ready. So have your home clean and all your orders and affairs in hand, because we don't know what's going on. This is unprecedented. And that's the whole key, is that we can't let fear get us. And another thing that I'm really curious about, that I'm going to remind you to not let fear get you about, or to, is this 5G COVID virus connection, which is arguably kind of quite convincing, some of it. And I've also done some studies, and do your own due diligence. Look this stuff up. We all have the same kind of resources, I kind of have been doing it a little longer, and I know how to get to these things maybe a little quicker. And if you'd like more assistance, I can get you some support if you'd like. But do your due diligence. Some crazy things that are real commonalities between what's happening now that's pandemic and another pandemic, the Spanish flu, was that the world was bathed for the first time in an extreme change in the electromagnetic atmosphere. We can call it electronic discordance. And this electronic discordance, some scientists believe, and one also philosopher, Rudolf Steiner, he spoke a lot about how electricity affects the human body in such a negative way. And we understand that we're vibrational beings, and so if you buy into any of that jargon, it's very plausible that this 5G is affecting us. That doesn't mean it's our doom and gloom and our demise, because again, are you the 100th monkey? It's the ascension or the apocalypse. And don't forget that we made it through the Spanish flu. There was an adaptation, and that is something that we may go through. And there are things that we can do to make sure that we are not damaged so much by this adaptation, that we can actually build resilience instead of misery. Let's look at the fact that if this is affecting us, this 5G thing, number one, we're gonna get some really cool speed technology, man. That's gonna be really cool. And you know, since I like video games and that kind of stuff, and since I like technology, you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, man, I hope that my theory is correct, because my theory is that we adapted. And once we go through this adaptation phase, we're going to become stronger. We're going to be resilient. We're going to have a stronger shell. Right now, though, we're in a molting phase. We're in an adaptation phase. And so what we need to do in this time is to keep ourselves really protected. And the neat part is that if you look at what's going on right now as opportunity, it's opportunity to get stronger. It's opportunity to build a bigger shell, so that way you can handle the next phase of whatever's going on. So please, I hope that you are taking full advantage of what's going on right now. I know it's tough. And so then, you know, what we're looking at is what it is. This 5G, this adaptation, is that it's like the lobster, that the only way that we get stronger is if we get uncomfortable in our shell. And ironically, you know, we've kind of gotten uncomfortable in our own kind of, our shell is our way of thinking, not where we're at right now. Okay, I know that's, our shell is our way of thinking, and our way of thinking doesn't work anymore, it doesn't fit anymore. And so we're uncomfortable. And what we've done, one way or another, as a culture, as a unity, is created a situation, whether it's the cabal, or whether it's aliens, or, you know, whatever the case may be. We're here now, and that's the important part. Be here now. Because all people can ascend. No matter how far off you are, it doesn't matter if you've been sniffing oils and water all day long for you know 50, 60 years, your whole life. You can be seeing right now as the apocalypse. So all of your crystals are nothing more than rocks, and all your essential oils are nothing more than perfume and good smelling stuff. And you could have been the most cold, shrewd Wall Street CEO, and because of what's going on right now, you've decided to break out of your shell because you've been uncomfortable the whole time, and you see the opportunity that right now is the time that we can do this. Take advantage of it. So what it is maybe that the 5G is going to make people go a little batshit crazy. So do things that you can. Stay away from metal stuff. Get as much metal away from you. I actually got rid of a lot of old cables, you know. If it's earlier than HDMI, you know, unless you need it, if you have an HDMI TV, get rid of all those cables. Drink lots of good, healthy water. Our waters have metals in them, heavy metals in them. Our waters have chlorine. Our waters have fluoride. If you look at the link here below, I can make sure, if you're in the Anchorage area, I can come in as soon as this stuff gets a little bit better. I'm taking orders right now, and we can get you really good, clean, filtered water. The setup is $200, and it's like $180 a year for the upkeep. And that's really important, so drink lots of good water. If you're doing bottled water, you're messing up the landfills, and tree huggers like me get pissed off, and don't do that. It's gonna just create another problem, and we're part of the Ascension, and it's also very expensive for bottled water. And again, the tap water is no bueno, doesn't have good stuff in it. So I can help you with water. We've got Zen remedies for that. But really the most important thing is the way you think. So keep that in mind. What is it right now? It's an opportunity for you to break out of your shell in a safe way. That's the most incredible part. You're safe in your home. And who knows, this coronavirus might go away quick. Let's get going. That's what it is. It's an opportunity. It is a pandemic. It is a all people. It is an opportunity for you to express solution and love, or fear and imprisonment. So think about that. And what does it do? That's the next one. What